The room goes quiet the moment the name is spoken. Tom Selleck. For decades, that name carried charm, success, and a mustache that became a cultural symbol. But somewhere behind the scenes, in the shadows of Hollywood's golden glow, there was another name, a man whose smile hid bitterness, whose laughter masked resentment. Burt Reynolds. And for years, he utterly hated Tom Selleck. The question that haunted Hollywood insiders wasn't if the hatred was real, but why. Picture Hollywood in the late 1970s. The air is thick with ego, ambition, and unspoken rivalries. Burt Reynolds is king, box office royalty, the highest paid actor in the world. Directors want him, studios chase him, magazines worship him. He's the man everyone wants to be. Then, almost quietly, a tall actor with calm confidence steps into the spotlight. Tom Selleck lands Magnum, PI, and everything begins to change. At first, no one notices the shift. Burt laughs it off in interviews, plays the role of the unbothered superstar. But behind closed doors, the tension is undeniable. Selleck isn't loud. He isn't flashy. He doesn't fight for attention. And that, somehow, makes it worse. Hollywood has room for many stars, but not always room for two symbols of masculinity at the same time. There's a moment people still whisper about, a casting discussion, a role that Burt Reynolds once wanted or believed should have been his. It goes to Tom Selleck instead. New public outrage. No headlines, just silence. And silence, in Hollywood, is often where resentment grows. Friends close to Burt would later describe it differently. They say it wasn't jealousy, not exactly. It was replacement. Burt Reynolds had spent years crafting an image. Rugged, charming, untouchable. Then suddenly, studios started seeing something newer, cleaner, safer. Tom Selleck didn't just succeed. He represented a shift. And Burt felt it. Imagine Burt alone in his trailer, flipping through a magazine. Selleck on the cover. Again, another role. Another headline. Another reminder that time is ruthless, and Hollywood is colder than it looks. Burt jokes about it publicly, but privately, the bitterness deepens. He reportedly refused to say Selleck's name, dismissed his success, reduced him to that TV guy. But the truth was harder to face. The hatred wasn't born overnight. It built slowly, fueled by insecurity, aging, and fear. Burt Reynolds had built his career on being irreplaceable, and Tom Selleck's rise threatened that belief. Not because Selleck tried to, but because he didn't have to. There's a painful irony here. Tom Selleck admired Burt Reynolds, watched his films, studied his confidence. While Burt saw a rival, Tom saw a legend. That unbalanced dynamic made the resentment even sharper. One man competing, the other simply existing. As the years passed, the distance between them grew. Burt's career began to falter. Health issues, financial struggles, regrets he would later admit openly. Meanwhile, Selleck aged gracefully into respected roles, stability, and quiet longevity. And the hatred, once fiery, turned heavy. Late in life, Burt Reynolds finally spoke with honesty. Not anger, not jokes, honesty. He admitted he struggled watching others succeed where he once stood. He admitted fear of being forgotten, fear of losing relevance, fear of no longer being the man Hollywood needed. And in that confession, the reason became painfully clear. It was never really about Tom Selleck. It was about time, about watching the spotlight move on, about realizing that success doesn't ask permission and youth doesn't wait. Tom Selleck became a mirror Burt Reynolds didn't want to look into, a reminder of what was slipping away. So when people ask why Burt Reynolds utterly hated Tom Selleck, the answer isn't scandal or betrayal. It's something far more human. Pride, insecurity, and the quiet terror of knowing your era is ending. And maybe that's the real mystery worth sitting with. How many rivalries aren't about hate at all, but about fear? How many legends struggle not with others rising, but with themselves falling?